A pleasure to meet y'all at last. Now, I got myself another big tip on Vibram 5 Fingers, but it wasn't until just recently, within the last 4 or 5 hours, that I've wanted to start talking about it, so I'm right here, right now, actually starting to talk about it. But before we get into anything, I would just like to announce that, well, I've also been getting some harder times on Twitter yet again, because I'm losing my followers somehow. I don't even know what's going on, despite my fact that I'm still engaging with the Gain Tweet community, retweeting and liking Gain tweets to gain more followers. I've still been losing at least 800 followers within the last month. I don't know what is really causing all this, but I can't tell really what else I can do about it. Or what you can do about it, that is. You wish you could probably help me out, but I just don't know what the heck is going on at this point. But anyways, let's get on to this next tip in Vibram 5 Fingers. Now, as you can see right here, we got my 5 finger set up, and of course, it's not very easy to determine exactly how well the fit is going to be, but of course you would want to spread your toes out, have them splay out as well as you can, so this way they can efficiently enter the toe pockets with ease. And of course, with my 5 fingers, the fit is just simple enough. Have it flat on the floor, or most of the time I tend to have it in my hand as if it were a slip-on sandal, so it would be best to just slide the foot in. Because it's a form-fitting shoe, it actually does take some time to get in all the way, but once you do, then you can feel the sides of the toe pockets just grasping down between the toes, telling you that it's fitting perfectly. But of course, as you can see here, the slack right here that's pretty much not taken up, that's a good sign as to how stubby your toes can be sometimes. And unfortunately, however, there isn't really anything much that you can do based on toe extension and toe shortening, although there are actually a couple surgeries in existence for your second toe based on decreasing the length of your second toe. If your second toe is longer than your first toe, then there actually is a surgery out there that can decrease the length of your second toe. But you can see here that my second toe is not longer than the first toe, so that's out of the question in a way. But in terms of these 3 toes, which are shorter than the second toe, but then again, considering how the shoe is designed, then it would make these 3 toes here, at least these 3. This one over here and the second one also seems to be a bit short for the second toe pocket. Those 4 toes, aside from the big toe, I mean, the first toe fits perfectly in there. Whereas with the other 4, they don't exactly fit in perfectly, and there is actually a lot of slack in the toe pockets, as it turns out. And this is because, well, not everybody is practically destined to have themselves toe pockets that would fit their toes comfortably and perfectly. However, that's probably not so much of an issue, because there are actually 2 options that you can use to make your 5 fingers fit better in terms of the toe pocket's length and slack. You can stuff foam padding into any of the toe pockets in which they have a lot of slack in, and with very little slack in it, that will give you a better shot at having a comfortable fit, a complete fit on your toes. Whereas with the second option, however, you can do what's known as a toe stretch. One viable way that you can do it is by grasping it with your thumb and first finger and just pulling upward really slowly for up to 25 seconds at a time. And you can keep doing that until the toe muscle, the tendon, stretches to a point of which that it would comfortably fit in each of the toe pockets. Same thing with the other 3 here. These 4 primarily are the ones that are too short to fit in the toe pockets all the way. But other than that, though, I think my fit is actually superb. Based on from heel to the first toe. The heel to the first toe is perfect, really. Whereas with the other 4, they're just not really long enough. They're not incredibly long to the point at which they will fit perfectly, but nonetheless, I feel that the fit is still natural and it's still fine, based on accordance with the actual fit of my foot in total. On both feet, that is, because sometimes you just don't know when one foot's going to have longer toes and one foot's going to have shorter toes, or if both of your feet seem to have the same issue. But other than that, though, there's really not much that you can do with it. You could just enjoy it how it is, or you could actually try to shrink down your first toe, if that is possible. You could try to have a little something with the tendon right here. You can shrink it down by pressing this, although it wouldn't be a very pleasant experience. It would not be comfortable to try to shrink the size of your foot. The size of your foot. But of course, there actually are a lot bigger pieces to the puzzle as to why your 5 fingers need to be fitted correctly. Another reason is because of the lace design here. If you have the slider all the way down to the very top of your foot, then that would mean that it fits perfectly. But any further than that, to the point at which it's going to crush the top of your foot right here in this area, which has the metatarsal bones going towards the toes, the long bones that sit behind the toes, the point at which that the slider would be touching into and crushing pretty deeply, that would be considered a very uncomfortable state based on tightness. And of course, you would have to give a little bit of slack to it, but not so much to which that you would want to have it raised all the way up like this. Otherwise, it would be too loose, so this way your shoe would easily fall off, despite the fact that these shoes are form fitters and fit very snug to the foot. There's a good chance that these shoes can fall off your foot if you do not have the slider to a point at which that is snug. So you'd want to have it nicely rested in the middle, between the point in which that it's too loose and it's too tight. You wouldn't want to have it either way. You just want to have it somewhere lying in the middle. And a third thing is the fact that you'd want to test the Mega Grip compound as well as the flexibility at the toe areas, especially this area. You'd want to test to see how well that flexes. So this way you can ensure the fact that, well, your feet are actually going to have themselves a good fit. A nice soft material that you can feel between the toe pockets is actually supposed to be a lining. Based on this particular model here, the Trek Ascent non-insulated variant of this model, it has the liner on the sides of the toe pockets, and on the top it's a nice rugged material that's lined with some rubbery stuff for easy grip on some surfaces. And the caps here actually is part of the sole, which is also the Mega Grip compound. On the first and second toe, you can see the studded area here, but it also is on the 5th toe and not so much on the 3rd and 4th. I don't know why that is, but it's probably not too big of a deal, because your 1st and 2nd toe are probably the most vital at getting you to climb up certain surfaces. So with this studded pattern right here of the Mega Grip compound, it would be good enough to have both the 2nd and 1st toe become the primary use of your foot. So this way you can scale up certain vertical surfaces like rock walls and the like. The 5th toe is also like this. I'm sure as heck not aware that that was also there, but I wouldn't necessarily assume that it's also meant for a practical purpose like climbing over a vertical surface. But then again, considering the design of the shoe in total, with its sock liner, the rugged outside, a nice velvet on it. I mean, this darker part of the shoe is what's composed of velvet, while this rugged material here, I can't really tell what it is, but it's kind of related to mesh, although it's not mesh to the point at which that you'd have breathability. And the Mega Grip compound is also very, very flexible. Like, look at that. Just that alone, it would allow you to make it much more portable than other shoes. Along with the soft part right here, I don't know why they have the soft rubber here on the bottom here. Vibram logos over here. So what I can tell so far is that this is an almost perfect model for those who have a certain set to accomplish a lot of different types of terrain scales and a lot of different sorts of, well, there's a lot of activities out there that you could do with this type of shoe overall. And so this way it would also help you to engage with the environment around you and of course connect with Vibram's steps to ensure that this shoe is the perfect kind of footwear for your foot to envelop in. So I'm going to set it back down because there's really not much else to talk about it other than the fact that these are a 10 out of 10 for me. So there you have it. You got yourself another fine tip of the use of Vibram 5-finger shoes without really necessarily a ton of, well, I guess, rant to the whole point of which that it would upset viewers and it would also cause some hateful comments to come up to the comments section below. But I feel like I've done a real great job explaining the whole thing in detail. But if you want to see more going down on my channel, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.